Kaboom! All right, Mike, how you doing, man?
Sad day.
It is a sad day. We've had what, maybe a half hour to digest this news?
Yeah, it just happened or just came out, reported by Darren Ravel, and I'm wearing my hat in honor of Tops. Can we go a day without any hobby drama, or do we have to just have crap all the freaking time? Like, I just want to collect cards, man. That's all I want to do.
No kidding. Well, for folks that don't know, the news of the day is that Topps is losing its license or has lost its license to Fanatics. Now, this won't actually hit the printing presses in terms of cards until, was it 2026?
2025, I think.
2025.
People can go read it. It'll be everywhere. We'll put a link down below to the news article.
Yeah. Well, and well, I mean, let's break this down. So, yeah, as I process it, I'm thinking there's so many things that I'm trying to figure out how they're playing this, and we don't know a lot of this, but what stood out to you first when you read the news first? Is there anything that stood out to you in the article? And the articles are everywhere from Wall Street Journal to the Action Network, where Darren Ravel is right now. What stood out to you?
How could Topps let this happen?
Yeah. Did you dig into the details of the notice?
No.
Of the news? Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know the
so
financials of it. What are the financials and all that? I don't know.
I don't even think they have the financials of it. What it says there is basically that the MLB gave Topps the right of refusal. In other words, you can match this offer that Fanatics is given. But I mean, the reality is Fanatics is 14 times larger than Topps, according to this article from an Action Network. And they couldn't match it. They couldn't match it.
That's my phone blowing up, by the way, with people texting me. And I'm
Yeah, I
getting
know. I had to just turn off my alerts.
I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, so this ends a 70-year run for Topps. So it'll end up being like a 75-year run for Topps. And a couple interesting things to me. I'll tell you what, let me just show the article. So if people haven't seen it, I can at least walk through this with you. There's some nuances in here that I think Topps is going to have to clear up. I want to know. So this is from the Action Network. This is where Dan Ravel posted a couple things, right? So the terms of the deal are unclear. Sources say that MLB and MLB PA have an equity stake in the new company formed from scratch just to produce trading cards. Fanatics has hired Josh Luber to run the business from StockX. Like, that's kind of being swept under the rug. That's a big piece of information there. StockX, guys, the guy hasn't manufactured or run a business in cards. Like,
well, it was funny when I got a call from Fanatics, something about CEO, this or that, and I thought they were full of it, when they called me. So I didn't even return the call. I guess I should have. I might be the new Topps, or not. I might be in charge of baseball card production, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, so you have that. So that's obviously interesting, and they're producing a new company from scratch to produce trading cards. So there's been some, if you go to the social media world, there's been some, I don't know, murmurs about why doesn't, Fanatics just go purchase Topps? Like, why didn't they just acquire Topps to take over that license and have all the entire manufacturing, supply chain already figured out?
Yeah.
But here you go. I mean, they're forming a company from scratch to produce trading cards. They're kind of answering our question right here. They're not buying Topps. They're not going to go buy Upper Deck. So my immediate question is, they're going to start new brand names? Like, gone are the days of Bowman Chrome and Bowman Draft and Topps, Bowman First and Topps Chrome, whatever. They're starting new brand names.
Sounds horrible to me. Like, my initial reaction is, No, like this is terrible. I don't even know what to say. I literally am speechless, which is unusual for me if you watch our channel.
Yeah. So they Topps does have 5 seasons left. Losing the license in the future automatically makes it a shell of its former self. Yeah, and of course they're referencing their first statement here. I mean, this was going to the board at Murdoch Capital next week for their SPAC, right? For their IPO. Obviously, that deal is going to be off the table.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't buy any of the stock. Good grief.
Next Wednesday morning. So there you go. Sources say that MLB had the right to match the deal, unable to reach the number. Not surprising, given that Fanatics is worth 14 times. Recent valuation puts Fanatics at $18 billion. My goodness. Who has never produced a sports card ever. Before the establishment, okay, we know all the history of this. For anyone that wants to dig into that, they can. There's been some other sources saying that Fanatics is also right now talking to the NFL and NBA Players Association and licensing to also take on those contracts as well. I mean, Panini's obviously going to fight tooth and nail for that. You would expect.
It just feels like it has disaster written all over it, but I'm with you. I'm like, why wouldn't you just try to acquire Topps?
Yeah.
And acquire all the brands and who says that still can't happen down the road, right?
Fanatics isn't stupid, right? They've obviously created a behemoth of a company. You would think they don't walk into this without a brand name to help usher them into this kind of new environment.
What
right?
brand names are out there? Again, they got 5 years to figure this out, right? It's not like they're doing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So this is probably just the first of many shoes to drop in the whole, shell game of card licenses and players associations and leagues all figuring out who they want to make trading cards for them.
Yeah.
What does Fanatics bring to the table, though, that would be attractive to Major League Baseball other than a giant wad of cash, which maybe that's all they cared about? I don't know.
It sure sounds to me like all they cared about was the cash. So here's my question on just the contract in general. Why announce this now? I mean, obviously the timing with the whole board meetings next week, that's important. The contract doesn't end for 5 years, 4 years. Do they not have time to negotiate the renewal of this contract? I mean,
yeah.
Why now?
Think if this would have happened a month ago, right before the National.
Oh. Yeah, the Topps
Q&A would have been slightly
Q&A
different
great.
that I attended. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There's also some verbiage just about the exclusive nature of this contract, which makes me think maybe we start to see the end of unlicensed products. Does that kick out Panini as well for their unlicensed baseball products?
Probably, because the deal is with MLB and the MLBPA, which is where Panini had their deal before, was with the MLBPA. So you've also got, and I think also part of it is the equity. You mentioned that part of it's going to be equity stake in Fanatics for the MLB and the MLBPA, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just money, it's ownership stake. Which again, if you're Fanatics, why is that interesting to you? Why do you want to do that? Do they just think there's so much money to be made in sports cards? I mean, Topps's books have been private for a long time, right? We don't really know how much money Topps is making on sports cards. It will be public soon, apparently, because they're going to IPO the stock. But over the last few years that Topps has been private, there's no looking behind the curtain to see, is it profitable or not to make sports cards?
Yeah.
We really don't know. I mean, I would think it is, but how do you know? And what does this do to price? If Topps has always been, well, we have blasters at $20 or the pricing. I mean, Fanatics, every time I look at their website, I go, I'm not buying that. That's way too expensive. Everything I see on their website is like, no, I'm not paying that for that.
Yeah.
I've never bought anything from Fanatics. So
yeah, same. Well, and I had a quick conversation with somebody on the card shop side, and their immediate reaction to me was, this to me sounds like a awful thing for card shops, because number one, he hates dealing Fanatics, and number two, they already had a very online centric distribution model that's in place, and they won't need the card shops.
Right.
So there's that whole element of it, right? Where that you're starting to kind of carve out these pieces that really worry me in terms of just the longevity of. Well, so let's talk about the value of Topps cards going forward. So what do you think this does for Topps cards 2025 and earlier? You think it puts kind of a more premium, a higher premium on the Topps cards, or do you think it even matters?
I don't think it'll matter for now. I don't think it'll change a lot. I mean, you got to think brands have come and gone throughout sports cards history. This isn't new. There used to be things called Gaudy, and Bowman used to exist as its own company. And they, I bet back in the day, after the bubblegum wars and Bowman left. Now, again, they were acquired. That name brand was acquired by Topps eventually, but who's to say that won't reinvent itself somehow, some way? But this is not a new thing to the hobby and sports cards ever. It's just, and there was a time when sports cards were made when there was no Topps. Topps has been around a long time, and that's what we all know and have grown up with. Right. But 70 years, yes, sports cards have been around for 100. So, 130. We'll see. I'm just shocked. I'm still just shocked.
Yeah, there's a lot we'll have to process and think through, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of videos about this. I have already reached out to Topps through different avenues, as you'd expect. No one's getting back to me right now, but hopefully we can get somebody on from Topps on the Bench Clear side. Yeah, in terms of what it does for prices, I'm kind of with you. I don't think in the short term it affects things much. We have precedents for this, right? We have Topps leaving the basketball market. We have Topps leaving the football market. So, and in both those cases, you had different situations where basketball went up and football kind of went down. So, who knows? Who knows? Now, here's my thing. I'd be really curious if starting next year, we start to see a Fanatics unlicensed brand of cards hit the market, almost like a competing Panini brand, knowing they have it in 2 to 3 years. Why not use the next 3 years to build their brand, their card brand, even if it's unlicensed?
Yeah, and the only thing that would change in 2025 or 2026, whatever it is they would get logos. Right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they would get automatic traction because people would know, hey, those unlicensed Fanatics cards in 2022 and beyond. I mean, now they're the licensed brand. So who knows? That would be, I wouldn't be surprised to see that news very soon.
Yeah. There's a lot more things to come out about this, but I don't think we need to beat a dead horse that we're shocked. And I mean, there's going to be tons of content about this and people being surprised and whatnot, but it's crazy news.
You don't want to talk about it anymore.
I don't know what else to say about it. That's my point. I'm just depressed. It makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, now that this IPO is likely going to fall through, they're going to be a shell of themselves, and be really interesting to see if Fanatics swoops in and says, "Hey, you know what, Topps? We can buy you now.
Mm-hmm. Well, they still have the F1 license. Let's not forget, and Bundesliga. Let's not, they
Garbage Pail Kids. Come on.
And Garbage Pail Kids. Let's go. I mean, yeah, let's stay positive, because we're always downers on the hobby, on this channel. So we have to stay positive.
Yeah, I honestly been trying to find the positives in this news. Like, what could this do? But I just sense so much of a money grab here. And in baseball, you and I both know, like, baseball is the one of the, like, all the sports is the one sport where loyalists drive this sport so much.
Yeah.
And you
certainly
kind
not
of
the
drive a
players.
wrench into yeah. So woo! All right, man. Good stuff.
I'm gonna go cry now and drink a beer.
Here's your wife sent this to you and me. This is your closet. All your top sets. Rest in peace.
Right. Oh my God.
So good. All right, man.
All right. See you
Until
later.
tomorrow. I can't wait to see what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing another video about some crazy news.
All right.
All right. See you, man.